In this segment, we're going to look at how to collect some items from an oil derrick that was in this particular competition. Basically, what they had to do was pick up some round Lego pieces from the oil derrick by moving a lever that then basically dumped those pieces. When they dumped the pieces, then they have to collect them. So you'll notice they came down here. That one actually worked. The robot ran down, and then it had a lever that pushed on the arm. That flipped the pieces into that big container that they were pushing on the front. Here's another one. You're going to see this arm flip, and again from this angle they collected those parts and they're taking them back. So that worked really nicely. Now in this particular case, they've got a sensor on the front of this, and you'll notice when the sensor pushed in, the push sensor, then the arm flipped down, but their container was not large enough. This one here, it has worked kind of the same way. How they knew when they were right there at the unit is a good question. That's a perfect time to use a push sensor to let you know when you've pushed up against it. Now the other thing, on the side of this one, you'll notice it looks like they've got a light sensor there. And the light sensor, probably when it gets to the blue, and then they use a little bit of timing, that one worked real well. They've got a wall that they can move right alongside of, and using the wall to line yourself up is not a bad idea. You're going to see that in this one. Notice the little round wheels that are going to follow along the edge of the wall, and those wheels are keeping it aligned perfectly so that when it pushes into it, and you'll notice attached to those wheels there's that 45-degree angled thing. That 45-degree angled part actually pushed down on the lever at the same time that the robot got to it. This one here, they just used the end of something, a Lego part, to track against the wall, and then they made the lever push on it a couple, 2-3 times in case something didn't happen right the first time. Now you'll notice they're lining up on those little marks on in the base of the mat area to straighten themselves out. They're just hoping that they're going to be aligned. They were in this situation. You'll notice they pushed down on the lever and it flipped those oil barrels in there. Now they've got some other things that might be in their way, because in this contest we had a staging area here for a variety of apparatus. You've always got to watch out that your robot doesn't run into something else that you've pre-placed, so the order of executing your missions. That one just pushed itself against the wall. It used the edge of the Lego parts there to hold itself against the wall, and that positioned it. This one, very interesting set of apparatuses here. You'll notice the sensor is much higher here on this side, and then it's following along the wall. As it gets there along the wall, it pushes down on that. The sensor let it know that it was right at the oil derrick so that it would go ahead and stop. There is a Lego clutch part that you can use that will slip if you're doing gearing where this thing's gonna go, and you always run the risk of damaging things. This one went down. You'll notice that whole huge apparatus fell down, but then the problem is that thing weighed so much they couldn't get it back up, and they had to pick the robot up to take it back to base. There they pushed that. Now notice that one had a little V thing. That V thing on the very front, the red and blue, there's a post on the bottom of the oil derrick, and that thing captured that post and centered it perfectly. That was a very slick application of just mechanically centering yourself. This one wasn't lined up quite right, and then it had other problems, and so you see this is where attention to detail, teamwork, making sure that things aren't in the way is really important. This one's following the wall, and then it actually worked. It got one of them, but then you'll notice it kind of fouled up the apparatus there, the oil derrick, and created some problems that way. Here it is again. This time it actually worked correctly. So that's the way it was supposed to work. Now remember, it's got to work 9 times to 10 times out of 10 to work reliably. This one they're going to try to accomplish multiple things at the same time. They push that out of the way. You'll notice that the device on the front is at a 45-degree angle, and as it pushed up, it just mechanically forced the lever down underneath it, kind of using a wedge to force that lever down. On this one, they've got this thing on the side, and this this device that they're going to attach to the side of it actually drags directly against the wall, so that when they place it against the wall, it'll kind of line itself up. I don't know if we're going to get to see it actually function here or not. Apparently we missed that, but that did follow the wall. Here they've got a whole group of things that they're kind of moved out of the way. Here you'll notice that they've just attached something to the top of a Lego axle, and they're going to use that to help press that. They're using 2 bars to run along the side of the wall. Then of course on the time going back, you've still got to get back to base. That one kind of got lost. This worked really, really well. You'll notice the levers there that were attached to each other. Very mechanical. This one's going to follow the wall. It comes in, hugs the wall, and those little wheels drag right along the wall, and then they've got a nice apparatus that pushes down, and then it just goes straight back. This was a very difficult challenge, but actually pretty easy if you used mechanical and sensors the right way.